Ideas. There's at least 42,687 ideas out there. Let that sink in. So let's explore some quotes on this topic. Big ideas are found by hunting for them and making them your own. We constantly encounter interesting ideas along the way, and only a fraction of them are helpful for the particular thing that we are busy with right now. By focusing on what is interesting and keeping written track of your intellectual development, topics, questions, and arguments will emerge from the material without force. These are 3 quotes that perfectly summarizes what we are trying to do with our knowledge management system. We don't want information to go to waste. Why would you let ideas, beautiful, wonderful, creative ideas, go to waste? Make a note and add it to your knowledge management system. It improves it. Every idea adds to what can become a critical mass that turns a mere collection of ideas into an idea generator. So when I first started this YouTube channel, I decided to track how I'm doing everything, and this channel was born. I started with the daily notes first videos, where I saw the value that daily notes first can give you and the clarity that it can bring to your knowledge management system. So this is something that we went through in excruciatingly detailed videos with all the topics that ties into your daily notes. Out of these videos and this video series that we've done, we developed the Logredis system, which stands for log, stands for relate, and lastly, discover. In this system, we have inputs on our left-hand side and outputs on our right-hand side. And this is the method that we use in order to capture these fleeting ideas, to capture information from conversations that we have or from television shows that we watch, any interesting idea that pops up, academic things that we want to explore later, just in general improving our knowledge management system. Now that we have both these different theories that ties together, they work in unison, I wanted a way to explore the next step of this evolution. And the next step to me was to explain all of these concepts that we have gathered and created in one format, and that is a demo vault. So all the videos that we have covered to this far, with the different templates, with the daily notes first, with the Logredis system and log examples, that is something that I've built over the last couple of months, and I've spent a lot of time in order to make the daily notes first and Logredis Zettelkasten system palatable and easy to consume for people just starting out, and also for veterans in Obsidian space. I want the functionality of Obsidian to be accessible to everybody. And this is the best way I could think of in order to create content around and also bring more value to people who are interested in the same subjects that I am. So today we are going to walk through this demo vault and also talk about what videos will be coming next. And most of the videos will be coming out of this demo vault. I'll start explaining the different areas or rooms within this demo vault and help the people that don't have the means to go and buy the demo vault to help them build it out themselves. Okay, so let us jump right into it. Let's go. Finally, our journey can begin. We start at the Obsidian homepage, and this is your home base to everything related to this vault. I tried to structure everything in a story-like fashion, so you can read from the top to bottom to understand this is the type of things that we want to achieve. So for the daily notes first and the Logredis or Zettelkasten-ish style methodologies that we want to apply to our lives, to our time management, and to our knowledge management. This is the type of concepts that we are playing around with, and we are using tools in order to get to that end goal. So our end goal is productive knowledge management or effective knowledge management. The way we get to that is through the following tools that we are going to implement in our vault. And the story on the Obsidian homepage is meant to let you follow along easily as to the type of things that we want to install and activate within our vault, and also settings that we want to change and how to set up specific things. So if we have a quick overview, we have change ledger. Let me just close everything down. We have the change ledger. We have First, we explore what this vault is structured for. This vault comes pre-installed with much needed plugins and pre-tuned settings. Not everything is set up to our liking. Let's create templates. With templates, we also need to use a tag structure, and we also have a classification of logs because there's a difference between our normal tag structure logs and logs. And then we just have a tag log, which is a database query that's showing all the nodes that's pointing back to our Obsidian homepage. If we start with the change ledger, it is an accounting page or a history page or an archive of changes page. And the aim is to make this vault an evergreen vault. And what I mean by that is Obsidian is continuously evolving, and we want to evolve with it. If there's new functionality, we want to be the first to use it. But there's always some resistance that once you find a structure that works sufficiently, and I do believe there's sometimes where you have to satisfice versus make something perfect. But we should not stop at a system that is just, okay, we are striving for perfection, but I'm here to test new things that works for me, and hopefully it would work for you as well. I think if you are subscribed or if you're interested in the Daily Notes First and the Logredis system or a type of variant of the Zettelkasten system, then this would be tremendously valuable for you because I'll do the hard work and you can come here and understand why I decided to implement something and what new functionality I added to the vault, why I added it, and how I added it. So to change ledger, if we click on it, you can see that we have different timestamps. So if you close these timestamps down, this is what it would look like in the future. We have on the 30th added a tag structure to the event management to the tag structure file. And then I have the screenshots of the type of things I changed and this describe what tags I use in order to keep track of my daily habits. So then you can click on it and you can see, okay, cool. These were the changes that were made. On the first, you can see there's a similar one. Add a description field, daily habits, cool, task, appointment, event management. So these would just be changes and new functionality that I bring in. And then you would also have descriptions that if it replaces old functionality, will give reasoning for why it is replacing it, why it is better, and then it would link to a page on how to install it. So the change ledger is just for continuous development. My members on Buy Me Coffee has access to this, and I would want to make an easy way for you to access changes in the future without videos coming out, that if you see there's new functionality, you can go play around with yourself until I make a video. So for the change ledger, that's it. Then we continue with our story. First, we explore what this vault is structured for. So let's just zoom in to make this a little bit bigger. This vault is set up to get people who are interested in a Logredis and Daily Notes First way of note making up and running as quickly as possible. Logredis is a system we use in combination with the Daily Notes First ideology. In short, we want to capture information in a way that is quick and easy, while also allowing us to effortlessly revisit these ideas in the future. You'll see throughout these explanations, there'll be links to the different terminology that we use. So Logredis would have a short description, maybe some images to explain a little bit better, and more definitions. And if I've made a video of it in the past, I'll link to that as well. You'll always have a sense of reference. For the Daily Notes First, we did an extensive series on Daily Notes First, and I've also linked a couple of videos and also briefly described what it is. Now we continue. So this vault comes pre-installed with much needed plugins and pre-tuned settings. This is something that I found frustrating in the past, and it was new community plugins that I saw on other people's channels, and I did not know how to implement it, and it took a lot of my time. So I wanted a place where I could just go, open up a blog article or a vault where I can just see, cool, this is the plugin. This is what we use it for. This is why we want to use it. It's used in combination with other plugins, and this is how you install it. So I've made a page called Obsidian Community Plugins, and I gave a brief definition again. Obsidian Community Plugins are needed for what we want to use Obsidian for. If you are here, you want to use it the same way I'm using it. That is using the Daily Notes First system and then also the Logredis system. The setup and associated settings, which I pre-tuned, are described in the above mentioned notes. Read through it to understand what plugins we are using, why we are using it, and how it was installed and set up. Here we can see that I have indicated or listed all the community plugins that we use within this vault. So if I close everything down, you can see that for now we have calendar, periodic notes, template, data view, task, language tool, minimalist theme settings, style settings, and Obsidian charts. And within each, it links to a note, which I just hyperlinked here. And you can see why. You can see why we are using the calendar, and then you can see the setup. If I feel there's more explanation needed, I'll add it. And you can go to the tasks. Why? This is our bread and butter for using our Logredis system. It's a thing that allows us to log. We use these logs in combination with our tag structure to push information to different end destinations. And you can see step by step how I decided to set it up. So install, and if there's different settings that are activated, I also included it. Yeah, you can go through all the Obsidian community plugins that we have in this vault. And again, once there's new Obsidian community plugins that become available that I start to use and I trial and I test it, and I deem that it's an important addition to the demo vault, then I'll come add it here. And you can also see it in a ledger with a link to it. So if we go back, you can see some Obsidian community plugins are needed. And for the second paragraph, on top of the plugins that we need, we also have some of my preferred settings. So this is just preferred settings, mainly with the Obsidian default plugins or settings. Then for style settings, I also mentioned a note called standard and custom callouts. Now that everything is set up to our liking, let's create templates. So this is a piece that took a lot of time and effort to get right. So I'm quite excited about this one. And here we have all our journal templates, standard note templates, log templates, person templates. And under each, you have a short description. And then you obviously have the link to the template itself. So you can walk through it. But if you go back, you can see that we have a nice little description for each. And some of them have a link to a specific example. You can see that this is the week that I chose as an example field or example week. And some of them have links. Standard note template. We have two standard note templates. We have a note template, which is the normal one, and then we have an MOC note template. And if you don't know what that is just a MOC note. So let's say you have found that you have a lot of gravity surrounding a specific topic. Let's say you suddenly have an interest in cooking. You see in your tag structure that your tags surrounding cooking is getting to be quite a lot. Then you can create an MOC called cooking, and this MOC template pulls in all the notes and all the logs that has the hashtag called cooking. So it's a nice little way to start off your MOC and really have all the resources being pulled into one central area. If you don't understand it, there will be a video in the future and you can also just come and read. Now, log templates. Log templates are used to capture our Logredis and log notes easier. And we just go through all the different types of logs that we use. And then we have person templates, just people. Now, if we go back, you can see that that was our template. With templates, we also need to use a tag structure. And this is something that a lot of you requested. And this is also something that's been in the woodworks. And I've had a lot of conversations with people also interested in the subject. And I found something that works for me. I'm hoping that you find value out of it and that you can also adapt it to your specific needs. So for the tag structure, I indicated the tag structure for daily, weekly, and monthly tags. And then I have an example of its use. Task appointment, event management. This is something I've also been playing around with, and I'm quite happy in my personal vault of how it's being used. So I use tasks, appointments, events in order to pull into different areas. And then I also have my daily habits. Then we go to income and expenses. If you're interested in tracking your income and expenses, it's a little bit more manual. In the future, there will be ways to pull in information automatically from different sources. But for now, it is still a manual endeavor. But we have the hashtags for log expense, log income. Then obviously we have cooking and baking, and we have a criteria called is tag. So this is just how you would have additional tags on your log system. So let's say you watch a interesting Instagram video reel about heuristics. You would say this is video Instagram. So that's just indicating that it is a video. So let's say you remember seeing a video on Instagram, then you can use a filter to all the Instagram videos. And that's one additional way of finding it. But then you have the on tag as well, the on tag. And you can just say it is on psychology, on heuristics, on presence, on ChatGPT, on AI. So you use all of these tags in conjunction, but we also have some examples in this week example. So from the 10th to the 16th, and then also the weekly note. Then we go to exercises and experiences, and then we go to movies and series, YouTube and blogs. So it's quite elaborate and would give you an idea of how to use it. And we have examples in these days on how to actually use it. So that's the tag structure. And now we go to logs. So these are logs related to income and expenses and anything else that you want to use the data view sum functionality with. So for our normal log system, you're using the tasks plugin in order to create logs. So if you have a conversation with somebody, you basically open up a new task like this. Might as well just give a sneak preview. You open up a new task. So it's this little circle that you can click or unclick. It doesn't really matter if it's clicked or unclicked. And you say you had a chat with a person. So chat with Elon, and then it really falls in is person chat about, click Alt A, and you just say about a new rocket ship, right? And you would say hashtag on space exploration, for instance. And that is how we use our tags community plugin to capture our logs. And we do go through why this is a better way than our old log inline metadata field. But for logs, so when I say logs, it is logs that you want to sum. And unfortunately, with this tag structure, if you want to insert a number that you want to sum at the end of the day, like the amount of coffee you drank in the week, or the number of, or the liters of water that you drank in a specific week or month, when you put it into the structure, DataView can't pick up the summation or any type of calculations that you want to do on it. So for that, we still need to have the structure and say 5 liters of water. And then we can create a DataView query that would pick up the first numbers or digits of the sentence, and would also pick up on water consumption that we can just see at the end of the week if we just want the string and not the number. We can also just pull in these guys as we wish. But for the summations, we want to use this log water metadata fields, and it is explained better in the logs now that I think about it. So logs, for some logs, we want to be able to sum the figures. Every day we indicate how many coffees, water we drank. End of the week, month, year, we want to see how much water we drank. In order to use DataV queries that sum these figures across daily notes, we use specialized logs with unique names. And this just runs through the type of logs that you would use. And you can see all of them have numerical values that we want to sum at the end of the day. So there's just one key difference that you need to remember because it can get confusing. And I'll show an example as well. This one won't work. This one will work. You can still use it in bullet point fashion. So that is everything in our Logredis demo vault. This will be expanded on, but everything that we have covered till date is basically included in this vault. We have a lot of examples going through the days. So if I go to the daily log 10th, you can see that how the daily log is going to be structured. You can see that we're using our daily habits. You can see our logs, chat with Elon Musk. You can see that we're using article links. You can see good morning, and I'll say it back. We have all of this data. And when we go to the weekly note, we also have some extra functionality, and we can see the pictures at face glance or quick little view of how a week went. We have our reviews, then we'll insert our weekly reviews here. Here's all our metadata from our logs. So log days rating, log sleep hours, log sleep rating that we want to keep objective or as objective as possible. And we have a DataV query that does some calculations as what was our average log week rating out of 2? And it was 1.57. Pretty good. What was our average sleep hours? Almost 8 hours. It's pretty good. So you can see these are the type of summations or calculations that we want to do using DataView on our logs. And then we can see that people experience this podcast, articles and reading series, cooking and baking, provoking thoughts and lessons and expenses and income. You can see everything that happened in a week. So this is perfect for everything that we have spoken about thus far. In the coming videos, I'm going to break down different elements of this demo vault, but there's a lot to cover. So it's going to take some time, but The functionality will develop as I go along, as I experiment a little bit more. But I am very excited to finally have this up and running, because this has been months in the work and a lot of blood, sweat, and tears. So I'm happy to finally share it with you. I'll put a link in the description to this demo vault. You can buy it and start using it straight away if you're so inclined and if you're able to do so. Otherwise, I'll be breaking down the different parts of this vault as we go along, but the most up-to-date version will only be available to my members. And any feedback in the comments, any suggestions, is much appreciated. I read all of them. All the hints and info that you guys are giving me, I find it tremendously valuable. It feels like I have my own personal funnel. You guys are just giving me information that I can then rewrap, use in my own personal life, and then give it back to other people as well. So I just want to say thank you and enjoy the carrots that you'll be eating sometime in the future. Bye-bye now.